Why are your 12-month software builds totally failing while a closed ecosystem app with literally zero UI is out here making $1.5 million? It's crazy, right? Today, we're jumping straight into this explainer to ruthlessly deconstruct Parakeet Chat. It's a micro-SaaS in an industry that, honestly, 95% of people completely ignore. We're going to break down every single metric, mechanic, and line of code.
Seriously? Think about this for a second. You can't even download this thing on your phone. There's no slick dashboard. It's a completely invisible application operating entirely in the background. And yet, it is absolutely crushing almost every indie hacker project out there. So, let's look at the hard numbers. We're dealing strictly with hard data today, so let's start with the big one. Since its inception, this single zero UI application has generated exactly $1.5 million in lifetime revenue. And listen, this isn't some theoretical inflated valuation. This is cold, hard cash generated from a hyper-niche market. When you break that down to today's run rate, that is a highly consistent $300,000 per year in recurring revenue as of 2025. Oh, and did I mention it's a completely solo bootstrapped operation? Just one guy. And it's not like this was some slow burn that took years and years to find its footing. Jordan, the founder, secured exactly 200 paying users within the very first month of prototyping. He literally built the MVP in a month, released it, and boom, 200 active users instantly. To really grasp the scale of engagement here, just look at this number. Since launch, the Parakeet Chat system has successfully processed and sent over 9 million messages. That's right, 9 million. This isn't just some novelty app. It's an active, deeply integrated communication tool for its users. All right, let's move into our first major section here. Monetization and acquisition mechanics. How exactly does this invisible machine make money? Well, this brilliantly illustrates the separation of user and customer, which is honestly the secret sauce of this whole business model. The actual users are incarcerated individuals. To them, Parakeet Chat is just an email address on the internal prison email system. They email a bot, the bot pings ChatGPT, and replies with case law, legal research, sports stats, or even business advice. But here's the kicker. The users don't pay. The customers are their families on the outside who are paying a $15 to $20 monthly subscription for this service.
The market penetration here is just staggering. Historically, Parakeet Chat has had 30,000 total users. Put that into perspective. That is 20% of the entire United States federal prison population. It's facilitated 100,000 family connections. And the origin story? Absolutely wild. Jordan was a former Fortune 100 researcher turned freelance software engineer. He jumped on a Zoom call to finish a project for a client, but instead the client's girlfriend was there, crying, saying he'd been sent to prison. Jordan kept in touch via paper letters, realized the existing prison tech services were just overpriced, low-quality scams, and decided he was going to build something better.
So, that brings us to a crucial point on acquisition. How do you even market to a closed ecosystem? Well, you don't use external ads, that's for sure. His singular, unglamorous growth engine is an internal recruitment system. It's so simple. If a current customer recruits a new paying customer, the referrer gets 1 month of free credits. Beyond that, pure word of mouth. When you build a genuinely superior product in a highly restricted environment, your users become absolute zealots for your brand. Moving right along to the next section, the hardcore tech stack and delivery. Let's look under the hood. Now, I am absolutely not going to summarize this. You need to see every single tool Jordan used, so let's list them out. He used TypeScript as the core language for the entire build. React handles the front end for the families on the outside. Postgres is the primary database. Redis acts as the in-memory database and the crucial queuing system to handle that massive email traffic. He plugged in Auth0 because, let's be real, no one wants to build their own delegated login system from scratch. Prisma facilitates all the database calls. Zod is strictly utilized to validate the schema of incoming data from external servers. And finally, there's heavy use of Docker containers to keep the whole thing running smoothly. It's a hardcore, incredibly efficient stack. Okay, let's pivot to our final major section, validation and core pitfalls. How did he actually execute this? Check out this rapid launch timeline. In week 1, he was talking directly to his inside contacts to gather requirements. In weeks 2 and 3, he built the MVP and validated it simultaneously. Think about it, because he couldn't just send a landing page link into a federal prison, he had to physically deploy the functional MVP right into their closed ecosystem to see if they'd actually use it. By week 4, that internal feedback loop secured 200 users. And here is the absolute wildest part to me. He didn't even build the payment system until month 2.
But by the end of month 2, the project was strictly profitable. Jordan's core advice on avoiding the biggest indie hacker pitfalls is brutal but absolutely necessary. To quote him directly, "You must validate and you must be willing to let your idea die. Go, come up with an idiotic idea that everyone tells you will not work and just do it right now." Real validation isn't some fancy step-by-step framework. It's the emotional willingness to let your beloved idea die. It's the mandate to start messing up immediately in a controlled way rather than reading 20 business books and building in total secret for a year. All right, we are at the end, which brings us to our mandatory core review. Let's lock in these facts. I highly recommend taking a screenshot of this exact fact inventory right now. Here are the hard metrics. Lifetime revenue sits at $1.5 million. Yearly revenue is $300,000. The subscription pricing relies on a low-friction $15 to $20 per month. He achieved a staggering 20% market penetration in federal prisons, and his time to strict profitability, exactly 2 months. So, what is today's ultimate takeaway? Here is the underlying logic in a single sentence. Real validation is the immediate, unvarnished exposure of your MVP to a hyper-niche market. It is the absolute death of your ego and the start of genuine data collection. So, I want to leave you with a direct challenge right now. If you were to copy this exact validation strategy for your current project today, what is your definitive step 1? Seriously, who is the contact or what is the closed ecosystem you're going to target? Drop your execution plan in the comments below right now so we can debate it and I can help you avoid some of those early pitfalls. And hey, make sure to leave a comment below to automatically claim the complete tech stack checklist and the operational mind map we put together for this explainer. Get to work, start validating, and we'll catch you in the next one.